What's going on, Packers Nation? Welcome back to another video of Packers Latest. I'm your host, Taylor Bretl, keeping you up to date on the latest news of the Green and Gold Green Bay Packers. A happy Wednesday to all of you watching out there, just a couple of days away from another Saturday game for the Green Bay Packers. They'll take on the Baltimore Ravens in Week 17. If you're new to the channel, I welcome you. Feel free to subscribe, leave a like, turn on a notification bell if you want to know when these videos go live. And if you're a returner, I welcome you back as always. We're going to start off this episode talking about some neat news in the Pro Bowl results. If you see just one Pro Bowler for the Green Bay Packers, probably a little upsetting, but you still got to give credit where credit is due. Very neat to see Micah Parsons in his first season with the Packers getting the Pro Bowl nod. Not really a shocker, but still nice to see nonetheless. It's unfortunate that Micah Parsons will not be able to participate with the season being over, but Parsons was the lone Green Bay Packer that got voted into the Pro Bowl. And again, it's the Pro Bowl. A lot of these, Pro Bowl players are on playoff teams, with the Pro Bowl being the week before the Super Bowl. Maybe it might be different this year, but I believe it's a week before the Super Bowl. I could be wrong on that. A lot of these players drop out, could give more opportunities for more Packers, but Micah Parsons was the lone Packer voted into the Pro Bowl. Among the defensive ends, there were three of them in the NFC. Parsons joined Aiden Hutchinson and DeMarcus Lawrence. So a pretty stacked crew, to say the least, but nice to see for Micah Parsons. Again, very unfortunate he won't be able to participate in the Pro Bowl, but still very neat to see. First season as a Green Bay Packer, he is representing them in the Pro Bowl games. You look at kind of some of the guys on the fringe, it was really Jordan Love, might have been the only one. The NFC quarterbacks, were pretty closely contested. Matthew Stafford, definitely the big front runner of the group, but Sam Darnold was that third quarterback that got in. Lots of people thought it should have been Love over him, but then guys like Caleb Williams were not in that top three as well. So definitely not fully sure where Jordan Love sits amongst the fan voting, which, has some effect on it, but not all of it. Jordan Love sat as the fourth highest voted NFC quarterback. So maybe if a guy or two drops out, he could get into his first NFL Pro Bowl. But for now, it is just Micah Parsons standing there by himself. You look at Micah Parsons, his season definitely ended short, as I've said a couple times already. Very unfortunate getting that injury against the Denver Broncos, but still a 12.5 sack season, a pretty impressive first year in Green Bay, hoping that he's back and healthy in September as expected. But talking about health, we got to get into the injury report, and oh my gosh, not one, not two, but 20 Packers are on this injury report for Tuesday. Tuesday is just a walkthrough, so you got to take some of these with a grain of salt, but still very, very rough to see that this number is up to 20. I'll categorize these by the ones that did not participate, but the ones that did with limited participation, and the guys that were in there in full participation. So starting off, 4 players did not participate. 2 of them with an illness in Quinton Bohanna and Bo Melton. This illness thing is definitely interesting. I know it's late in the winter, but my gosh, feels like guys are getting sick left and right on this team. Emmanuel Wilson, one of the recent Packer, I should say, with the illness bug, hoping that can clear up around Green Bay. And then you go to Zach Tom, dealing with a back and a knee injury. He did not participate in practice, and Christian Welch, still dealing with that ankle injury, was the 4th guy to not participate in practice. You go to the guys that are limited. I'll fire these off because there are a lot of names. Aaron Banks with a neck injury, Josh Jacobs with a knee and ankle injury, Jordan Love, which was just that left shoulder injury to have him on the injury report, but now it's that concussion, Aaron Mosby with an ankle injury, Sean Ryan with a knee injury, Jordan Riley with an ankle injury, Lucas Van Ness still dealing with that, on and off foot injury, Josh Wiley with his concussion, Evan Williams with his knee injury, John Williams with the back injury, and Malik Willis with that new right shoulder injury he obtained against Chicago. You go to the couple of guys that were full participants. It's a group of receivers and one more, that one more being Colin Oliver with a hamstring injury. He was a full participant. And then 4 receivers in Romeo Doubs with that wrist injury he obtained against Chicago, Christian Watson still dealing with that shoulder injury, Dontavian Wicks with the ankle injury, and Savion Williams with a foot injury. So that's a mouthful. Again, 20 guys. Will definitely get a clearer picture on, the guys that maybe didn't participate, how serious it is. And again, only 4 guys did not participate, and 2 of them are out with an illness. The only ones with true injuries, Zach Tom and Christian Welch. So we'll definitely be some things to monitor, but a lot of guys with limited participation. That's where I circle it the most, because that's a group that involves 2 quarterbacks in Jordan Love, Malik Willis, and you got your star running back in Josh Jacobs, and a lot of other crew members as well. So will be interesting to see the health of this Packers team, hoping for all good news across all 20 players. But Malik Willis, despite being limited participation in this practice, we did get good news with him. So let's talk about that. Jordan Love, still a question mark with a concussion, hasn't had one before in the NFL, so it's not something that they're used to evaluating. Concussion could be very short, quick turnaround, and for some guys, it's longer than expected. So we turn to Malik Willis, who the Packers got from the Tennessee Titans last season. Willis has played the role very well as a backup quarterback. In his media availability, this quote comes from Matt Schneidman on X. It's either Schneidman or Schneidman. I need to figure out how to pronounce that because every video I feel like I say it wrong. So if you're watching this, I'll make sure to get that right in the next one. But this quote comes from him in the media availability. With Malik Willis on his success with the Packers after how his time in Tennessee ended. Talking once more, the Packers trading just one pick for Malik Willis. I believe it was a 7th rounder, so got him for pretty cheap, and Willis has definitely excelled what he was traded for. In quotes, it says, "I just didn't get a chance to get on the field with the Titans, so you can't really say whether this offense, it made me get better or not. It's just I didn't have the chance to do anything." Definitely an interesting situation there because the Titans drafted him kind of to be the guy. He got the opportunities to be the guy and nothing really came of it. He goes to the Green Bay Packers and you kind of watch him and you're saying, why is this guy a backup? Why is he not on an NFL roster? Will be interesting to see how the Packers monitor Malik Willis as well. Will he get paid? Will the Packers keep him? Will Willis be able to be a starter with a different team? Maybe a team like the Falcons or a team like the Jets. Who knows? Maybe they just want him on a, short 2-year contract. Will the Packers keep him? In my opinion, I do not trade Willis. I want to sign him back because you have a backup like him where he can come into the game and you can have a confident chance that you can still win it. Lots of backups now. It's okay. He'll just be in there to hand it off. Let's hope that the ground game does good. No, Malik Willis does it in the air and he does it on the ground. You look against the Bears, despite the 22-16 loss, Willis coming into that game and finishing with the stats of 9 for 11 on passing with 121 yards in the air, 1 touchdown and no interceptions. On the ground as well, he had 10 carries for about 40 yards, I believe, so he can do it on the ground as well. A true dual threat quarterback. Have not really seen any of those in Green Bay all the way back in their history, if you want to be honest. I mean, guys, Jordan Love can run it. Rodgers could run it, but they don't run it anywhere close to how Malik Willis does it, and he can definitely expand the offense and control the offense against a Baltimore defense that has struggled against the pass. So definitely some good updates on Willis. Interesting to see how he talked about his situation when getting into the NFL, how it's kind of changed with Green Bay, or if anything really changed. He's just kind of getting the opportunities. And then with this right shoulder injury, he seems like he wants to play on Saturday. He's pushing for it, but we'll still have to monitor the injury report nonetheless. We go more into the injuries with our last point of this episode, and we talk about how the offensive line is hurt and they're searching for stability. I mean, this offensive line against the Chicago Bears, a couple guys performed really well. A couple guys did not have their greatest games. These grades come per PFF. Actually, before I get into that, we'll talk about the offensive line, how it sits on the depth chart from left to right, starting from left tackle, ending up at right tackle. You go to left tackle, Rasheed Walker, Aaron Banks in there at left guard, Sean Ryan, the center, right guard Anthony Belton, and right tackle Zach Tom. That's how the Packers depth chart has it as of now, but obviously a lot of mix and match with Banks, Ryan, and Tom all listed as questionable. But again, that is just Tuesday's report, which is a walkthrough practice. But you look at their PFF grades against Chicago, you got some names on here that are highly rated and some that are as low as it could have been on the entire offense. 20 total players on the Packers offense had PFF rankings in this game. And you started off the number 1 guy on offense for the Packers, Sean Ryan, who was listed as the center for the game. Again, lots of mix and match with Elton Jenkins out. You got to shift guys around. Sean Ryan has played a pretty good position at center, considering all the circumstances. He had a PFF grade of 82.2, playing all 72 snaps of that one. You go to the 6th highest rated Packer on offense in that game. It's left tackle Rasheed Walker with a 64.8 PFF grade, playing once again in all 72 snaps. Turn it over to one spot lower at the 7th spot. Jordan Morgan on the opposite side, playing right tackle in all 72 snaps, had a PFF grade of 63.2. And then you go to the 11th highest graded Packer on offense, Anthony Belton at right guard, playing all 72 snaps with a 59.4 PFF grade. And then unfortunately, you drop all the way down to the last 2 spots. in 19 and 20 out of the guys that got PFF grades for the Packers offense. You go to left guard Aaron Banks, who was that big addition from San Francisco in the offseason and really still feeling like he needs to find his groove with the Packers. Just a PFF grade of 45.6 through those 72 snaps, which is the second lowest on the Packers offense. And then Darian Kinnard, who had the lowest. He played just 11 snaps, but at right tackle, Kinnard with just a 30.8 PFF grade. So, you got some highs, but then you got some lows and you got some in the middle. Kind of inconsistent. You want to attack the highs more. Obviously, I know that's a very obvious statement, but you got to figure out kind of the rest, especially with how hurt this offensive line room is. Again, like I'll say once more, just a Tuesday walkthrough practice. So, take this injury news lightly until we get more information. But if you look at the starting 5 offensive linemen, 3 of them are listed as questionable. And, already without Elton Jenkins, seeing if John Williams will come back, Travis Glover, you're already without him. So it's already getting pretty thin. You kind of look at the depth a little more. Listed behind Rasheed Walker as the backup left tackle is Anthony Belton, who is listed as the starting right guard. So your backups already in the starting 5, kind of a mess and mix and match there. But again, Kinnard backing up Zach Tom at right tackle. Belton's backup at right guard is Jordan Morgan. Sean Ryan's backup at center is Jacob Monk. And the left guard backup for Aaron Banks is Donovan Jennings. So could be some new names in there, lots of mix and match, but they just need to find stability. They need to find consistency. You like to see when they're playing well, but when they're not playing well, it is pretty clear. So Malik Willis, a big reason why he obtained that injury was because the offensive line did not hold up very well, especially on the right side. And, you just got to really focus on that. With a Baltimore defense that is better against the run, they are better at bringing pressure. And a Malik Willis quarterback that has shown a lot in the NFL, but he is still young. You need to give him time in the pocket. But that's all I got for this episode of Packers Latest. We'll have more on the injury news in the upcoming days. With the Packers game being on Saturday, it's important to monitor those injuries earlier in the week and catch them and see how to evaluate who the Packers could be putting out on Lambeau Field for the final home game of the 2025-26 regular season. But once more, I'm your host, Taylor Bretl, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And as always, go Pack, go.